Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be looking at my 10 picks for the best action figures of the year so far. A whole lot of stuff has come out this year, and quite frankly, even though there's 4 months to go, only 4 months to go, there really is a ton of stuff still coming on the way before the year ends. So I wanted to share some of my favorite picks of the year so far, and today we're going to start out with 3 honorable mentions that did not make it into my top 10 list. Let's take a quick look at our first honorable mention, Superman 1978 by Mezco Toys. So this figure is basically the likeness and the action figure that we never received 40 years ago or 30 some odd years ago, whatever the number was. He basically is Christopher Reeve. He is Superman in action figure form, and he is undoubtedly one of my all-time action figures in my collection, all time, not just 2021. He didn't make this year's top 10 list just because there are some novelty factors in some of the other figures that we're going to look at today, but this is still definitely one of my great figures in my collection. Mezco absolutely nailed this figure, and let's go ahead and take a look at our next honorable mention. Our next honorable mention is the Fate Grand Order Berserker Lancelot by Sentinel Toys. This is an absolutely outstanding figure, primarily because of the amazing articulation that is so well hidden behind of all of these armor pieces. This gentleman, as you can see really quickly, can articulate in all manner of ways, and he gives you some really amazing dynamic action poses in play as he pulls that sword right on out. Whoa, and it comes right on out of his hand. Perfect timing, Lancelot. And if we needed to get him into that iconic pose, you see how easily I'm able to get him into that pose. An outstanding figure. Didn't make the top 10 today, or this year, I should say, but he is going to be awesome on my shelf and in my photos for many years to come. Really, because he's just built so well. And I keep harping on about him. He probably should be in the top 10, right? But this is an outstanding figure. If you got a chance to pick him up or play with him, if a friend has him, you should do so because he rocks. All right, our final runner-up, or honorable mention, I should say, for 2021's top 10, bam! It is Vapor, and he's not having it. He's not hearing it. He's like, dude, do you see my swag? Do you see my New York City style? How is it possible that I am not in the top 10? Somebody hold my hat. Nope, I'll hold my own hat. Amazing design. Amazing soft goods. These are pockets. This is a zipper. He has flocked hair. A number of head sculpts with beautifully emotive and artistically designed portraits. A number of hands. He has Timberlands and Jordans. A gas mask. I mean, a ski mask. Aerosol cans. Graffiti cans. This guy is awesome. It was a blast to put him in breakdancing poses and b-boy poses. When I was posing him for my review, you can check that out on our channel here. And here's another Grand Slam by Mezco that didn't make the top 10 of 2021 so far. What do you have to say about that, Vapor? All right, let's get into the top 10 of 2021 so far. All right, coming in at number 10, we have Marvel Legends series exclusive Silver Surfer. This character makes the list this year just because of how awesome he looks from an artistic standpoint, from a shelf present standpoint. Let's stand him up there really quickly and give him a once over. The Obsidian Surfer, aka also the Fallen One, comes from a really epic story arc in the Thanos run. I won't give away any spoilers, but long story short, King Thanos, yes, there's a storyline where Thanos is king. King Thanos, this gentleman, literally that gentleman, he decides it would be a good idea to get together with the Cosmic Ghost Rider so that the two of them can go back in time to recruit the help of a young Look at that mug. To recruit the help of a young Thanos, so that the three of them could team up and go back to the King Thanos' timeline to fight the Fallen One and defeat him, so that King Thanos could finally satisfy and please Lady Death. Yeah, it's really that epic and really that contrived and convoluted a storyline. But as usual, Marvel pulls it off with some really talented writers, some amazing artwork. And if you have time, check the storyline out. It really, really, really is that awesome. The dialogue is some of the best dialogue in comics in recent years. No exaggeration. It's that great a storyline. So absolutely coming in at number 10 because of the art, design, the beautiful paintwork, the fascinating and very cool accessories. For all those factors, the Obsidian Surfer, Marvel Legends series, Silver Surfer exclusive, coming in at number 10. And taking a look at number 9. Without saying anything, if you see this gentleman's silhouette, you know exactly who he is and where he's from and what his manner of business is. He is one of the most recognizable characters in all of science fiction, despite not being a lead protagonist. This figure, when he was released this year, considering that he is a $20 figure, or actually being a deluxe figure, I think he was $30. But considering that he's not one of these $100 and change action figures, all the articulation that he has, all of his awesome artwork and design, his accessories, it really, really is impressive. And then you combine that with just the mystique of who Boba Fett is. It is just really awesome to have him in an action figure form, and it especially so well done, so true to the films and the comic books, and with so much attention to detail. So absolutely, coming in at number 9 by Hasbro, we have the Black Series Deluxe Boba Fett. Coming in at number 8, we have Evil Lyn by Mattel, their new Masters of the Universe Revelation line of toys from their Masterverse. Evil Lyn is an awesome, awesome character historically. Even going back to the 80s, she was always a very strong, independent, intrinsically driven warrior. And this is going all the way back to the 80s. So you want to fast forward to the new, very awesome and epic Revelation TV show on Netflix, and Evil Lyn has evolved along those lines. She is more so the strong sorceress, more so the strong warrior, more so the cunning, intelligent, and determined leader. And this action figure really does nail and embody all of those attributes and characteristics. And Mattel did a great job of implementing some really smart points of articulation so that you could do some really cool and dynamic action poses with Evil Lyn and the other Masterverse figures in the Revelation line specifically. She is absolutely outstanding, and she's coming in strong at my number 8 by Mattel, Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Evil Lyn. Number 7, Death Knight by V Toys. I mean, just look at that dude's shelf presence, right? So that's why he's in the top 10. We've got what looks like a tactical style armor on. We've got this amazing flowing cape with some great tattered textured portions by the bottom, giving it some great body for it to look like it flows in the wind. Of course, it's wired, so you can go ahead and bend it and give it more of that feature. We have some really awesome pauldrons that are magnetic, and this pauldron is removable, and I'll show you that in a second. So all these extra little customizable features add to it. The soft goods, all these textured patterns add to what complements a really, really awesome and gorgeous looking figure. You're going to get a lot of great pictures out of this guy. You're going to get a lot of fun poses. He comes with a ton of stuff. I mean, he comes with a skull, and he comes with another alternate head sculpt up there. Look at those things. I mean, he comes with a skull. We can get that out of the way and take a look at our number 7, the Death Knight. And that is one awesome job of sculpt work. And definitely a strong number 7, a surprise fig from a relatively unknown company, the Death Knight by V Toys. the god Arethyr from the Mythic Legion line of toys. Let me fix my lighting there. All right, and let's take a look at this badass gentleman who has this badass flaming sword. He is coming in at a strong number 6. Mythic Legion's toy lines by the Four Horsemen from Four Horsemen Studios. This gentleman literally is the embodiment of one of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, the god of war, and his name is Arethyr. He is on this list because he is the god of war, man, right? He's the god of war. So he's on this list because of that. And he's on this list because as a toy, he is a functional piece of art. I mean, look at that work. In terms of aesthetic, in terms of shelf presence, that's why Arethyr, the god of war, is on our list. Because of this flaming sword that he can wield with impunity. He is on this list. Just give you a look at some of the gorgeous sculpting on his pauldrons. His armor is removable. Mythic Legion's figures are customizable, highly customizable. His visor is removable if you wanted to see a closer look of that totally awesome smile. And we have this gorgeous, gorgeous translucent fire effect, flaming coming out of his head, gauges in his ears. Not sure if you can make that out there. An absolutely stunning figure. I mean, we have this massive, massive buckle on his waist with horns. I mean, amazing. Gorgeous, gorgeous figure. Coming in at number 6, the god of war himself, Arethyr. But before we go to number 5, a quick peek at Arethyr with his Apocalypse horse, Aethon. All right, number 6. Moving on to number 5. Number 5. I'll spare you a long connection to mythology. Coming in at number 5 by Storm Collectibles is the god Ares from Injustice Gods Among Us, which is the comic storyline and also the video game from DC. And this gentleman is an absolute beast. And this guy does not disappoint. This is an absolutely imposing figure. I love the material, the felt or whatever this is for his wired cape. I just don't like the design of it, but that's okay. I'm not losing sleep over the design of that cape. This is an absolutely awesome figure. Lots of head sculpts. His best weapons here. I mean, look at this. This thing is a monster. Really strong articulation. But in terms of who he is in mythology, also in comic book storyline, the art and aesthetic of his imposing shelf presence, this gentleman was an easy choice for my number 5 2021 top action figure so far, Ares by Storm Collectibles from Injustice Gods Among Us. Oh yes. At number 4, we have Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified Series Firefly. This guy, you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, a G.I. Joe in the top 4? Absolutely, positively. Hasbro is rocking it with this generation and this iteration of G.I. Joe figures, the retro line also included. But in particular, this figure has made it up so high on the list because Firefly is just one of those characters, kind of like Boba Fett in the Star Wars mythos. Firefly is one of these figures that isn't a featured antagonist. He is kind of like one of these figures that's always on the periphery and always kind of pops up and helps out here or there, or has these obscure missions to fill. He never really has storylines centered on him. You know, he's not that number 2 guy, that number 3 guy. He's a little bit further down on the list. But that having been said, like Boba Fett, everybody knows Firefly. He is always one of the baddest figs in anybody's collection. And this is going back all the way to my childhood. Firefly is way up there at number 4 on my 2021 top action figures list. Firefly and his drone that kind of looks like Mickey Mouse ears. Dun, 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 number 3, and what has to be one of the most unnatural Superman poses that you have ever seen. We have the Mafex number 117, Hush Superman. This is quite possibly the best action figure I have ever held in my hands or owned in my life. In terms of how it feels, the plastic, it doesn't feel cheap. It feels sturdy, it feels expensive, it feels durable. The joints are tight. Despite how much I move them, they're tight. The articulation is unlike anything I have ever seen. In this pose, as weird as it is, he's balancing on one foot. There's no trickery going on here. I had to work with center of gravity and leaning his torso, and that's why his foot is coming in and resting on his shin, so that I could create the balance for him. But the engineering on this figure is unparalleled. SHF Figure Arts makes really amazing action figures, and I think they're the only company right now that I have seen. Maybe Sentinel is up there too. But Mafex, with this particular Superman figure and this particular sculpt, they just killed it. And he is my number 3 for the 2020. I got stuck in balancing here as I was rotating him. He is my number 3 pick for the best action figures of 2021 so far. There we go. Look at that balance. You know, that is just so impressive. I wanted you to see there's nothing helping him stand up. That is just a knockout figure. He comes with this really awesome accessory, which is actually the right hand for Hush Batman. And that Hush Batman has a kryptonite ring, which you see our Hush Superman wearing here. That's one of the accessories that he comes with. I wanted to have him wear it so you could see it. Number 3, one of the greatest action figures, in my opinion, of all time, Mafex number 177, Superman. At number 2, Mezco Toys Thanos. This is a badass figure. In terms of his story arc, who Thanos is right now and his relevance in the world of pop fiction and comic books and cinema, to have him in action figure form and at this elite level of design and sculpt work and soft goods and plastic and even some electric or battery operated parts, you know, in terms of the lights in the gauntlet. To have all that materialized in one action figure with a face sculpt that really does capture the visage of comic book Thanos is pretty awesome. I'm a huge Thanos fan, huge fan of the Infinity Saga. Both in comic books going back to the 80s. I still have original copies going back then. And also in the recent films where they did just a remarkable job. This action figure is all about shelf presence. He's imposing, he's bulky, he's brawny, he has all this brilliant gold, beautiful sculpt work, and he has that regal presence to him. Right? He is in this mode where you see he has the Infinity Gauntlet with all of these stones, and he's in a place of dominance and having conquered. And he really does sell that in the way he presents in this package. Mezco, another great job, another grand slam. At number 2 for my pick of best action figures of 2021 so far, we have Thanos with his Infinity Gauntlet. And let's fade to black so you could see what that gauntlet looks like, and so that we can fade into number 1. Very, very nice. Give you a little rotation. All 6 stones present and accounted for. All right, we have made it at number 1 for my pick of the 2021 Best Action Figure so far, ... Super 7's Conan the Barbarian from their Ultimates action figure line. It perfectly, in my opinion, captures that moment in the film Conan the Barbarian. Both the likeness of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the articulation is perfectly suited to him. The silhouette of his hand, even in that posture, really perfectly captures and evokes the film. The texture on the plastic with the paint pattern and the boots, all of it really, really evokes the film and looks just like what Arnold Schwarzenegger did in the movie. And for all those reasons, it is a perfect action figure for what it is. This is Conan the Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger in action figure form. Conan is deeply embedded in our culture in various forms. For that reason, because of my connection to this character going back to my childhood, because of the impact on fiction and pop culture, because of the design and how they just nailed this moment in the film. Speaking of Super 7, Conan the Barbarian in the iconic pose by Super 7 is my choice for the number 1 action figure, the top action figure of 2021. That's going to do it, everybody. That's my top 10 action figures of 2021 so far, plus 3 honorable mentions. It has been a really awesome year, man, in terms of collecting and just the kinds of releases that have been coming out from big companies, independent companies, third parties, customizers. It's a really, really awesome time. If you're into action figures and collectibles and art, this is the right time to be alive. It was a lot of fun, as it always is, taking time out today to share my 10 picks with you for the best action figures of the year. I'm going to keep coming around and sharing these experiences with you guys. I hope you're able to come back and share some experiences too. Until next time, everybody, take care.